They laughed while throwing the elderly couple out. Rain soaked the cardboard boxes as Martha begged them to stop, her voice drowned by laughter. Neighbors filmed, the HOA chair smirking like it was sport. Then a black car rolled up, slow and silent. A man stepped out, eyes cold enough to freeze the street. No one knew yet who he was, but the moment he spoke, the laughter died. Before we go any further, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Now let's begin. You know that feeling when a place looks perfect from the gate? Then the air shifts the second you step in. That was Maplewood Estates. Trim hedges, glassy ponds, smiles that held only until James and Martha turned away. He rubbed his knee. She carried cuttings. The porch smelled like rain. Karen Whitmore found them before the boxes cooled. Clipboard to her chest, chin tilted like the sun belonged to her. Welcome. Standards matter here, she said, scanning their pots like a customs officer. Martha nodded. James thanked her. By twilight, a note waited in the mailbox. Keep it tidy. No exceptions. Across the street, a neighbor whispered, They won't last. Morning brought eggshells on the fence. Not smashed, placed like a dare. James swept. Martha hummed to cut the silence. Fingers tapping the rail. She made tea. Honey in the spoon. From the window, voices drifted. Saw the van. Bet they rent. Look at that rug. Wrong color. Laughter clipped the air. They tried to fit in. House numbers polished. Porch light swapped to the HOA's soft white. Martha set a bowl for a stray cat. By noon, it was gone. In its place, a notice that read, Violation. Here is something about them. James drove a city bus for decades and memorized faces like songs. Martha fed children for years and learned to spot hunger under jokes. One night in slanting rain, they found a crying boy behind a grocery store. Pale hair plastered to his head, no shoes. They wrapped him in James's coat and took him home. They named him Ethan. The new home was meant to be their quiet. The storm followed. Karen returned with a smile that shone and didn't warm. A friendly reminder, she said. Trash cans out of sight. Lawn under 2 inches. Decorative items must be approved. That night, the fridge hummed. Martha spread seed packets, touching each like a promise. James traced the map in the welcome packet. He paused at a dotted square labeled Community Storage. Who keeps the key? He said. A shape slid past the window. 2 quick shadows. Martha's breath caught. She turned the radio up. Jazz in the kitchen. Curiosity itched. Anyway, why were strangers pacing their grass at midnight? Why did the camera ping and show no faces? Morning returned brittle. Karen waved from the sidewalk. Orientation at noon, she called. Martha pressed her hand to the warm kettle and nodded. We'll be there. Okay, yes, she smiled. After the wave, her fingers trembled. A small shake you notice only when you watch closely. Orientation felt staged. Lemon cleaner, folding chairs, a slideshow of community values. Karen narrated with a hostess smile. While neighbors counted the new couple's breaths, James sat straight. Martha rubbed her bag strap, listening harder than the room allowed. 2 days later, lawn height exceeded. James measured 2 inches exactly. He trimmed anyway, sweat darkening his collar. A golf cart idled. Board members filming. Documentation, one said. Next, porch rug, unapproved tone. Martha photographed the neutral weave. Attached a receipt, hit send. Auto reply only, whispers bloomed. At the mailbox, HOA already warned them. Standards keep values high. At dusk, a clink behind the hydrangeas. James found a solar light he didn't own, stake muddy. He wiped the lens with his sleeve, frown deepening. When he turned, Karen stood at the fence, serene as glass. Those look familiar, she said. They're not ours, he answered. Then you won't mind if I catalog them. A photo. A tight smile. Night layered the room's blue. Martha said, we should call Ethan. James kissed her hair. Let him build. We'll handle this Saturday. 3 knocks sharp. Karen and 2 board members on the porch. A security guard hovering. Notice of non-compliance, Karen announced. Recovered items were reported. We'll conduct a courtesy inspection. She stepped in without waiting. Closets opened, drawers slid. The guard's radio scratched. In the garage, a cardboard box sat by the water heater. Martha frowned. That's not ours. Karen lifted the lid. 2 more solar lights. A chipped garden statue. Copper house numbers. Tags scuffed. Mud ringed the base. Unfortunate, she said. Latex gloves snapping, flash, flash. Across the street, neighbors gathered like weather. Phones rose. Heard they steal yard stuff. Saw a cat dish. Checked the group chat. Martha's breath thinned. Fingertips found cool doorway paint. Her mind flickered to Rain years ago. A boy's small hands on a warm mug. "We do not take," she said. James met the guard's stare. "This is a plant." By afternoon, an email arrived. Hearing set, potential termination of residency, Monday. Evidence attached. Photos, an inventory. A list of sins. Noise at odd hours, bins out. Unapproved cat feeding, theft. James printed it. "We'll bring receipts." "Speak plainly." Martha laid proof on the table. More invoice, rug photo with timestamp, HOA palette, sticky notes in tidy yellow. James set the statue aside, studying the mud. They walked at sunset, trying to breathe. Cut grass sweetened the air. Chlorine bit at the pool fence. Sprinklers hissed. Lights woke on stoops like a verdict. From the clubhouse, laughter burst, dismissive. Back home, the doorbell rang. No one stood there, just a flyer. Community Pride Week. At the corner, a golf cart idled with lights low, then drifted off. "Something's wrong here," Martha whispered. "It's built to make kindness look suspicious." James touched the frame. "We outlast it," he said. Monday arrived gray and heavy. Clouds bruised against the sky. The HOA hearing wasn't in a courtroom. It was in the clubhouse, but it felt worse. Rows of folding chairs faced a long table where Karen and her board sat like judges, glasses gleaming under fluorescent light. James and Martha entered quietly. He wore his Sunday jacket. She clutched a folder of receipts so tightly the corners bent. Karen didn't look up. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter, you're accused of multiple violations, including theft of property. Do you have anything to say before we proceed?" James stood, voice steady but low. "We've done nothing wrong. Those lights, that statue, they weren't ours. Someone put them there." Laughter rippled through the room. "Sure they did," a man muttered. Martha looked around. Even the neighbors she'd greeted with pies now looked away. Their silence screamed more than words. Karen tapped her pen. "This isn't about feelings. It's about facts. The community expects integrity." Martha tried to explain the receipts, the timestamps, the matching store codes, but Karen didn't even glance at them. She'd already decided. "You have 24 hours to vacate," she said. The words landed like stones. Outside, the sky cracked open. Rain fell fast, drumming on the clubhouse roof. James took Martha's hand. "Let's go home," he whispered. But home was where movers already waited. Boxes lined the porch. The HOA had called early to speed up the process. Their furniture was dragged across the wet grass. Neighbors gathered under umbrellas, filming as if it were entertainment. A kid laughed when a chair leg snapped. Martha's voice shook. "Please, careful." "That belonged to my mother." One of the movers shrugged. "Ma'am, just following orders." Karen stood at the curb, umbrella poised, eyes gleaming. "We offered them leniency," she said to the crowd. "But rules are rules." James clenched his jaw. He'd been quiet too long. "You call this justice? You call this decency?" Karen smiled thinly. "I call it order." When Martha tripped trying to lift a box, someone chuckled. The sound hit Ethan first. A sleek black car pulled up, engine still humming. The rain slowed as if the air itself recognized him. A tall man stepped out, suit darkened by droplets, expression unreadable. His eyes moved from the shattered chair to the trembling hands that had once taught him to tie his shoes. "Mama," his voice barely carried. Martha froze. She turned, disbelief breaking through her tears. "Ethan." Gasps spread through the bystanders like static. Karen frowned. "Sir, this is private property." He walked past her as if she didn't exist. Kneeling beside his mother, he lifted the soaked box from her arms. "You don't lift another thing," he said softly. "Not today." The crowd's murmurs tangled. "That's Ethan Carter, the tech guy." "No way." "He's worth billions," Karen blinked, adjusting her tone. "Oh, Mr. Carter, if I'd known." He didn't answer. He turned to his father. "They did this to you." James nodded once. Ethan exhaled through his nose, calm but sharp. "All right," he said, pulling out his phone. "Then we'll start with a phone call." He dialed. "Gerald, it's Ethan. Buy out Maplewood Estates, all of it. And transfer ownership to Carter Holdings, effective today." Karen's face drained. "That's not possible." "You can't just—" He looked at her, voice even colder. Ma'am, you just threw my parents out of their own neighborhood. Watch me. The rain stopped. No one moved. The stillness that followed was strange, like the whole neighborhood had forgotten how to breathe. Karen's umbrella slipped from her hand. The laughter that had filled the street minutes ago dissolved into silence. Ethan's assistant arrived within the hour. Sleek black car, files in hand. The HOA board members tried to cluster together, whispering about legal overreach. But the moment the assistant displayed the signed transfer papers, their voices withered. Ethan had done exactly what he said. Maplewood Estates now belonged to Carter Holdings. Which means, he said evenly, eyes sweeping the trembling committee, you all now work under my management. Karen forced a brittle smile. Mr. Carter, surely we can come to an understanding. He tilted his head. We already have. You will draft a public apology, reimburse every fine you imposed, and resign today. A murmur spread among the onlookers. Phones rose again, not to mock this time, but to capture the reckoning. The same. Neighbors who'd stood silent now looked almost afraid of their own complicity. James rested a hand on his wife's shoulder. He didn't gloat, didn't smirk, just watched justice unfold the quiet way he always lived. Martha whispered, Ethan, you didn't have to do this. He glanced at her. Yes, I did. Because power means nothing. If you can't use it to protect the people who gave it to you. Karen's facade cracked. We were only enforcing policy. Ethan's voice cut through her excuses like glass. You enforce prejudice. There's a difference. Behind them, reporters had gathered. The story had spread faster than rainwater. Microphones glinted. Mr. Carter, one called. Is it true these residents raised you? He smiled faintly. They raised me, fed me, taught me decency. Everything I am began in their small kitchen. Today was just me giving a fraction of it back. The cameras caught the shimmer in Martha's eyes. James stood a little taller, his old posture from years of driving returning. The kind of quiet pride that didn't need words. Security escorted Karen and the board away. The movers who'd once tossed boxes into the street now carried every piece back inside, carefully, heads bowed. The air changed texture, no longer thick with humiliation but something lighter, respectful. A group of neighbors approached hesitantly. Mr. Carter, we're sorry. We should have said something. He nodded once. Then say something next time. Silence is how cruelty stays comfortable. By dusk, the street glowed warm again. The Carter's furniture was back in place. Fresh tea brewed on the stove. A single red rose lay on the porch railing, the symbol Ethan used in every company he built, representing resilience born from struggle. Inside, laughter returned. Soft, shaky, real. James wiped the last of the rain from the photo frames, setting Ethan's childhood picture back on the mantel. The boy with missing teeth and muddy shoes now looked down on the home he had just saved. A week later, Maplewood Estates felt like a different planet. The same neighbors who once crossed the street now waved from trimmed lawns, their smiles suddenly genuine, or at least trying to be. A hand-painted sign appeared near the gate. Carter Gardens, a community built on respect. Inside the house, sunlight pooled on the polished floorboards. Martha moved slowly, her hips still sore from that day, but her steps had a lightness again. She watered the lilies out front, the same ones Karen once called unsightly. James sat on the porch, newspaper open, glasses low on his nose, pretending to read, but really just watching her. Ethan arrived without fanfare this time. No suits, no cameras, just jeans, a black sweater, and that same quiet confidence. He placed 2 mugs on the porch rail. Smells like home, he said. Martha smiled. It always did. We were just waiting for peace to find us. James chuckled. Guess it came in a black Rolls-Royce. They laughed, the kind of laugh that heals. The wind carried the sound across the lawns where whispers used to live. A few houses down, workers replaced the old HOA plaques with new ones bearing the Carter Foundation logo. Ethan leaned back, gaze soft. You know, people think success is about what you build, but it's really about who built you. Martha reached for his hand. We didn't give you money, Ethan. We just gave you love." He nodded, and it turned out to be the most valuable thing I ever had. The camera would linger there. The porch, the peace, the couple who finally had their dignity restored. A framed quote hung by the door. "Some homes are built with wood and stone, others with heart and memory." Karen never returned. Her resignation made quiet news. Ethan turned the HOA office into a free community library. At sunset, Martha stood by the window watching children ride bikes where gossip once lived. Her voice broke softly. "We were meant to leave something good behind." James smiled. "We did. He's sitting right there." And for once, the silence that followed wasn't cruel. It was content, full, earned. When power met humility, justice found its voice. Ethan didn't just save a home. He restored the meaning of family and respect. If this story moved you, share it. Let the world remember kindness may bend, but it never breaks. And when truth returns, it always comes with power.